Hi, Glenn Crouter here. Thank you very much for listening to Head for the Hills, all brought to you by our good friends at eWool. They have a product that nobody else, believe me. And we're going to do local stuff and destination this entire season. We are so looking forward to it, and I'm so looking forward to talking to you over the next 5 months. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the show.
An original
from Story Studio Network.
Here we go, another edition of Head for the Hills. Dave Trafford here with you and Glenn Crouter for Story Studio Network, and your European tour continues.
We continue, Dave. Unbelievable, my friend. We're in Austria. We started Lexur. We continue to make our way over now into Innsbruck. And I'll tell you what, it's been a fantastic 10 days. We're here for another 2 days. We had 40 to 70 centimeters of snow back about 5 days ago. We've had nothing but bluebird sunny days ever since. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody just after we chatted last, and you were talking about, well, the next day we're going to get 70 centimeters of snow, and the guy I was talking to was in Sweden, and he was saying, oh, yeah, that's pretty normal, but, for me, I don't do the downhill. Oh, that's great. Well, I'll wait another day, go cross-country skiing. 70, centimeters of snow would paralyze this place. As much as we're used to snow. Can you imagine?
I'm not kidding. It was 24 hours of straight, heavy snowfall. And it wasn't just light. It was now with wind as well. And believe me, it blew itself out. And we've had nothing but bluebird days ever since. And we've had some incredible conditions to ski. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Well, and just a reminder that the folks at eWool are really good and helpful to get this show on the road and on the slopes, as the case may be. And we've talked a lot about their vests, but you become a fan of the foot warmers and everything else that they're offering as well in conditions like that.
Well, they've got not only the foot warmers, and it's a foot sleeve. It's really cool. It's not a sock, so you have a very thin sock underneath. You put the sleeve over top, and it's heated. So you have a beautiful battery heated sock, so to speak, a sleeve that goes up to your calf, and also, of course, it never fails with the gloves. The gloves are just fantastic. And again, little tip, and I've noticed in very cold weather, and I haven't had any cold weather here. We've had plenty of sunshine and some warm temperatures, but in the cold weather, don't put it on high, because you put it on high, you're going to have a short shelf life. And put it on maybe about 1 or 2. You can put on high at the beginning just to get your hands warm, but once you start skiing, you build up a little bit of perspiration and some heat. So make sure you drop it down 1 or 2 notches, and it still keeps your hands warm and your feet warm as well.
Yeah, well, and you don't want to spoil the day otherwise. So all that's good. You want to check out the product, go to ewool.com. All right, just before we came on, you were telling us that you're in Innsbruck, and you don't have to be a world traveler to know that Innsbruck is one of the benchmark spots on the planet if you're a skier. Also the site of a lot of the World Cup events, Olympics, all that kind of stuff. So just your impressions first before we get to your guest.
Amazing city. This is European. Architecture, culture, history, like I've never seen before. I would probably say if you want to compare this to Vienna, for a lot of people say this is a little smaller than Vienna, but this certainly has all the characteristics, has a river running through. We visited a museum already, 2 museums. We've skied. We've done a lot, had some amazing meals at some amazing restaurants here. It's the culture of the city. And the history is just fantastic. It's self-absorbing when you get here because it's so you're in awe when you walk in. We're staying at Stage 12, which is a hotel right in the heart of the old part of the city, and believe me, it really grasps you when you walk out the door. The hotel is relatively brand new and it's fantastic, but you walk out the door, you'll see the old part. We had just had dinner not too long ago in the real old part of the city, and I'm not kidding. This is truly one of the most magnificent cities I've ever seen in my life.
Sure. I mean, so you've just taken Alexandra's job at Innsbruck Tourism, right?
Well, thanks for joining us, Alexandra. Have a good night.
Hello.
I'm not kidding, yes, Alexandra.
I wanted to say you have to stop, Glenn. I don't know what I should tell anymore. You did a good wrap-up.
Well, believe me, it's so easy to do in this city. Alexandra Sasse, she's marketing manager for Innsbruck Tourism. Just wanted to thank you very much, not only for the few days we skied Crouter today, today and had a blast as well. But let me just tell you, for somebody who's never been to Innsbruck, tell me a little bit more about the city and why it's been so attractive to you.
Innsbruck is in the heart of the Alps, which means there's always a lot of snow in winter time, and it's perfect to reach. So if you land in Munich or in Frankfurt, you can get by train, bus, or plane. And the perfect thing is that it's the city right in the mountains. So you have an alpine urban experience. You have 13 ski resorts around it. As you said, you already experienced them. And what makes it so unique is that just from the city center in 20 minutes, you can get up to 2,000 meters above sea level. And that's just one unique thing, I think, maybe worldwide you can do. And then you have a breathtaking experience. And not just the mountains are unique. As you already said, you visited museums. We have a lot of sites like the Swarovski crystal worlds. I think a lot of people know them. And you just get lost in all the crystal and the magnificent views. So one thing is for sure, you will always have something to do. I can tell from my own side. I never know, maybe I go skiing, maybe I go ski touring, I go snowshoeing, or I go into this museum, I go to a photo exhibition. So you're always going to have a good time.
You know what I was really impressed with? You have I called it when I first got here, right outside the doors here at Stage 12 Hotel, was a bit of a town square. And I know it has history here from the Empress. And I give you a little bit of history there that when you come to this part of the city, and even the older part of the city, what we're looking at.
I think that's nice. It makes it Innsbruck also so unique. So most of the buildings were from 500 years ago built. Also the golden roof, our main attraction and what is common for Innsbruck. And back in the days, a lot of people always had to go from north to south. So the Vikings, even they had to go to Rome, and they always had to go through Innsbruck. So Innsbruck is a really old town, has a lot of history, and you find a lot of still old houses and imperial palaces to visit, which makes it also unique. So not just a ski resort, but it's like a city in a ski resort, you can say.
Yeah, so true. We took a little tour through the palace as well after we went through Max's tomb in the museum, which was just fascinating to see. And that's really something. And again, I'm not a guy that's into a lot of culture, and these two guys will admit to it, and Dave Trafford and Mike as well. But I tell you what, when you're here, you get absorbed into it. You really take in the culture. And what's really interesting is the fact that you mentioned it's not only a city, but alpine as well. They meet here because we got up this morning to go ski at Crouter, and here we are literally. It's where a lot of people are going to work. There's a lot of business people here. We're walking through the local mall here, and we're ski suits, shoulders with the skis, boots, everything on. We're walking right through the mall. And so everybody's kind of looking at you, and they know you're going to go skiing, but it was just such a weird connect because we just left a bunch of villages and towns that are skiing. Everybody's going skiing. Here, people are working as well. So it was really a unique combination that you can enjoy.
Yes, that's for sure. Also, all the students, they go with their skis and snowboards into university, and they're just waiting when the course is over to go up to the mountain. And as I said before, really just 20 minutes from Innsbruck, you don't even have to take a ski bus. You can get into the gondola, and you're up the mountain, have a breathtaking view over the city, and that's just what makes it so unique.
When we were taking our shuttle up to the hills today, what really impressed me when we got and talked to some of the people up at Crouter and their tourism office was the fact that you can, if you get on a bus in the city with your ski equipment on, it's a free ride to any of the ski resorts. That's unbelievable. I think that's a great idea.
Yes, it's perfect, especially also if you see from the perspective of that you don't need that many resources. And everybody can take the public transport. And as you have been in Crouter, you have been also to the highest ski resort in Austria, which makes it very snow safe. So you did a good choice in a ski resort. Yeah.
No, believe me, and that was on your recommendation, everyone else as well. Tell the people just a little bit about skiing here. I skied Crouter today, massive, vast, beautiful slopes, unbelievable conditions, scenery, breathtaking. A reason why people want to come to the Alps to ski.
Because you have a great variety, which makes it also good. So if you say maybe there's not enough snow, so you go up to the glacier, you could just go higher to the ski resorts. If it's too windy or maybe there's fog, then you stay in the lower ski resorts. Or if you travel with families, small kids, then you can go to a smaller ski resort so it's not so crowded. And if you maybe just want to go party, then you choose Axemalitzum. And so everybody can choose their own ski resort, and that's what makes it so special.
Dave, do you have a question?
Well, I was just going to say all the focus on what's going on in the resorts and everything. And I've heard people talk about visiting in the summer, but somebody told me that you can actually check out the bobsleigh run.
That's true. It's very fast. I've tried it myself, and all the tourists can also try it. It's a once in a lifetime experience, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that too. You have to coax me to do it once in a lifetime. Do I have to sign a waiver or get special insurance? Because boy, when you talk about it being exhilarating. Now this is in the summer that they're doing it, right? Or do they do it year round?
They do it year round. And no, you don't have to sign anything, and you're going to get safely down.
Okay.
But yes, you feel the G's. I don't know if you say it in English too. Like if you go around a circle very fast, like you can't hold your head, you will feel that feeling there too. So it's really an action, adrenaline.
And how long is that run?
Experience. It depends where you start, but usually around 2-3 minutes. I must say, a bit happy when it was finished.
I was just going to say, exactly. 2 minutes of exhilaration, and that's enough for me for life. But it's interesting to me when, clearly the ski and the alpine recreation is at the heart of what Innsbruck is about. But, anybody I know who lives near the mountains loves to hike. They like to, run the trails, that kind of thing. So I am imagining that your summer tourism really probably feeds a lot of that.
Yes, we're a very sportive city all year around. And in summer, you can also go mountain biking. It's very strong in our region. And as you said, also the hiking, and you have a lot of Alps where you can sit, enjoy yourself, have a beer, and just breathe in the fresh air. And that's also good with the mountains. We have the heights. So if it's too warm in other cities, you can go and refresh yourself up at 2,000 meters and cool down again.
We're speaking with Alexandra.
Austria's air conditioning.
We're speaking with Alexandra Sasse. She's marketing manager from Innsbruck Tourism. Alexandra, what really impresses me, the difference between skiing in North America and skiing in Europe, is that skiing in Europe is an experience. Skiing in Austria here has been an experience because it's not just about skiing. It's about the experience of the mountain, the people. The food is just incredible. And what I really, really enjoy is that in North American skiing, we start at the top, we end at the bottom. There is no places like you have in Europe, like maybe 4 or 5 options up the mountain, some incredible restaurants overlooking the cities, overlooking the rest of the hill. And that's what's really special for a lot of people. Can you tell us a little bit about how those hotels, restaurants, they all pop up halfway up the mountain, and you can really enjoy them as a skier?
Well, you have a high variety, and also there it's nice. You have like the really old ones, like huts, where it's a bit the very typical huts from ages ago, and you get the typical food like the Kaspersknödel, Schnitzel, and Strudel, what everybody likes. And then you also have the very fancy ones with open sun terrace and loft feeling. And I think that makes it very nice, so you can choose yourself where to go. And also, if you go skiing, everybody gets hungry or gets thirsty, and you can check in whenever you want and wherever you want at the mountain.
And the prices are so reasonable. Like for a schnitzel,
Perfect.
I think I've had schnitzel. We've been here probably about 9 days. I think I've had schnitzel 11 times.
Oh,
And the apple and the strudel. And I'm not kidding. It's just Well, thank you, Alexandra. I appreciate that. No, it's just one of these things that you have to absorb the culture, and people that want to come and visit here, you can have your cheeseburgers, you can have your pizza, but why? And we talked to some people today from the States, and they were having their pizza and their cheeseburgers, and we're afraid to try the Austrian food. And believe me, if you come here, you have to try all those. A lot of things I can't pronounce, but as you mentioned, there's some wonderful dishes here that are traditional, that really make Austria Austria. So again, I encourage people, if you're coming into Austria, really dive into the culture. I'm not a beer drinker, but I've had a beer with every lunch because it tastes so good. It's such a nice beer. It's organic beer. And that's on the other note, is that everything's been organic here for years. We've caught on to organic in Canada, probably not about the last 5 years, but I know you've been cooking. Farm to table is just a daily routine for all these restaurants and things. And again, that must be, I guess a lot of these places are owned by individuals. I understand, there's no corporation, so to speak.
Yes. In Austria, usually, it's by individuals, and also usually because it's high up the mountains, it's owned by farmers. So in summertime, because the huts are so high up, there are also the cows and sheep right next to the Alm. And so they use the meat they actually got from their own animals.
And wildflowers, we had, my friend had soup with wildflowers in it. So something that you really wouldn't experience anywhere else. And again, the food, it's one of them. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember what it was, and we had lunch at Maximilian's today on the halfway up the mountain at Crouter. And believe me, it was all natural, everything. Again, I only encourage people to really dive into the culture as well.
I must say I'm jealous, Glenn, because I was in the office all day long, looked out of my window, had the bluebird, and saw the white mountains. You have to stop.
Well, that's sort of typical, though, is it? I mean, when you never really get to see the great parts of your city unless somebody visits you and then you take them to see it. I mean, does that happen to you? It must.
That's true. I always come, when I go out of my house in the morning, I have a lot of tourists standing at the bridge and taking pictures, but I have to go to work. But still, I think to myself, oh, well, at least you live somewhere where a lot of tourists coming, and not everybody can say that. Yes.
Alexandra, is there something that you wanted to tell people to experience, which I haven't mentioned already? Is there anything that I have forgotten that I haven't seen yet? I've been here for just 24 hours, but we've taken in a lot. But just anything that may be kind of behind the scenes that people really don't know a lot about?
Yes, I think one thing, I mean, we talked about all the things you could do with city, mountains, alpine, urban experience. And one thing which I think is really cool and easy to use is a Ski Plus City Pass, Stu by Innsbruck. So it's one card, actually just by one card. And you have the ski resorts and the sites and also the public transport in one. So it's really unique worldwide. You don't have to think about again what you want to do tomorrow, the day after, because you have everything in one card and you don't have to pay for every site because it's in one card. I could just recommend that. I forgot to say that. I hope you got one, Glenn, from us.
Oh, well, that's how we got in the museum. That's how we also got into the palace, and this is something that's really unique. Again, I've never seen this before at a ski town. We got into the museum with our ski pass. We got into the palace with our ski pass. We got on the bus with our ski pass, and it's something that, and then we got on the ski hills. So that's such an incredible part and real attraction for people. So you don't need to worry about paying every time you go out. You pay one price, and you get that, and it covers everything you want to do at Innsbruck. That's brilliant. It really is. Congratulations to whoever thought about that, and I'm sure it's you that's come up with that idea, because it's really a great idea.
Thank you. I will give that to the team.
Oh, it's good stuff. And also, by the way, again, I go back and say you do not need to rent a car in Austria. Your train system, we've taken trains from Leckenzurs over to all sorts of different areas. And believe me, it's so easy. It's so simple. You've got your bags. If you got your skis, maybe a little bit more difficult, but do not really rent a car. By the time you land, we landed in Zurich, and we took the Arlberg Express up through the mountains, which takes you right to the resort, and then you plan in there for a number of days, and then you get another cab or a bus, and it takes you to another spot. So again, you don't need to worry about going and renting a car, because it's a little confusing. There's a lot of highways here. So again, rely on the public transportation. It's something that I really encourage.
Perfect. I also think that public transport is now the way to go.
It really is. And something also, just a little note, don't bring your skis, rent, because we have experienced probably 3 different kind of snow conditions since we got here. And we've rented from experts in the rental shops because we had up to 50, 70 centimeters of snow when we first got here. So there's not a chance that your Ontario skis would have been good. You need the wider boards, and you can get those at the rental shops, and they're not expensive. So again, do not bring your skis. Just a little tip for people because you're going to probably maybe go through 3 different styles of skis in maybe 1 or 2 weeks. So again, make sure you just take and rely on the rental shops for their expertise and how you can get a good ski for the right conditions. And we're just speaking with Alexandra Sasse from marketing manager from Innsbruck Tourism. And Alexandra, just wanted to thank you very much. Our stay here has been absolutely fantastic so far. We're staying here till Friday, and then off we go to Munich and catch a flight home. But you have a marvelous city. You have some amazing people. The culture, everything here is it's a fantastic place to be, and I can't wait to spend the next 48 hours here as well.
Thank you guys for being here, and also thank you for the interview.
You bet. Thanks a lot, Alexandra.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Just before we go, Glenn, I heard in the last episode you were talking about that the notion of don't bring your skis, rent your skis based on the conditions, etc. And somebody who had heard that asked me to ask you: do we need to bring boots, or should we rent everything?
Bring your boots. Always bring your boots. There's something about boots that you really don't want. And that's a great question. We rent everywhere I've gone, no matter where in the world. I've always got the skis and the poles. And again, I've relied on the experts, the people who actually live in the areas at the ski rental places, to recommend the proper ski. We've already had 2 different kind of skis here in less than 2 weeks. So that's an example there. But so bring your boots all the time. And here's something you want to make sure as well, because Air Canada, a lot of the airlines are cracking down on the size of that carry-on bag. They're really cracking down. On the way we came here, we probably went through 3 little checks to make sure our carry bags are the right size. And my boot bag is too big. So I've got size 12 boots. And by the time I got there, so we have to make sure that you just don't have a boot bag. And there's boot bags you can buy at different sporting stores. And what the boots do, they sit on the outside of the bag, so you can easily put them into the little container that they're checking to size. So that's something that I'm going to be doing when I get them back. My boot bag is just too big to be taken on the plane. So make sure you bring your own boots, rent your skis and poles as well.
So I could just imagine you sitting on the plane wearing it. Did my checked baggage make it?
Well, that's something you can. That's another. Again, I wouldn't do connections. We decided to have a friend who knows exactly what he's doing. We didn't do connections. We flew right from Toronto to Zurich. Yeah, go to direct. So there's not a chance you're going to change your planes at all. But that's a great question about a lot of people. Bring your own boots, because those things can really hurt you and absolutely ruin your holiday if it's not comfortable.
Well, safe travels, my friend. We'll talk to you when you're back here in the 416.
Great. Thanks a lot, Dave. Alexander, thank you very much as well.
Our technical producer and audio editor for Head for the Hills is Mike Trutler. Our production manager is Jamie Nickerson. Our executive producer is Aaron Trafford. And our sonic logo designer is Greg McDonald. I'm Dave Trafford. Thanks for listening.
This
is SSN.